Hey, Stilius, long time no see.
Yeah, Vince, good morning. For me, good morning. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good? Yeah. How's life been for you?
Eh, Good. I think it's getting more and more clear. Every day or the other, I have a small realization, and it goes like this. Some days you have some turbulence, but it doesn't affect me for so long. And
Excellent.
yeah, can I tell
So,
you a story that?
there you
Tell me,
go.
please. Can I tell you a story that happened about some days ago? So we can talk about our values. So I was in Athens for work. When I live in Athens, we have a small beach that we go with some friends that is for winter swimmers. It's a very cool beach with quiet people, so we go there. The last year, a crazy lady moved there, a psycho lady, that she has fight with all the people there. So I was telling to my two friends that this girl will destroy the beach and will cannot come here anymore. Anyway, last Friday we were there, and the girl, the moment where she was there, and the moment we are about to go, I was the last one packing my stuff. She attacked on me with words. My friends have climbed up the path to go up. At some point, she starting throwing rocks at me. Uh, I want to tell you that this lady has attacked too many men with knives, with rocks. She's a psycho lady. Anyway, she throws a rock on me when I was on the middle of the path with a cliff downstairs, and she starts running towards me. The moment she was running, I look up for my friends and I see them standing up. So I was alone, and she ran onto me. She put her face on here, and I said, okay, now she will kill me. She will throw me on the rock. She will put a knife. But suddenly she stopped. So we are right there. We said the last words fighting and saying disgusting things about me. And then I will moved up, find my friends and go. The first realization was that I was in the moment at that point. You cannot be in the moment at that point. And I saw all the possibilities running in front of my eyes. And I think to not react, she made her not react. Because if I was doing any movement, somebody will go down the cliff. It will be very, very bad. Anyway, the next day I have to make a travel with a bus for work about 3 hours. And I was watching all the mental images, replaying the thing. And it was mostly about reviving these moments with this girl and what was happening. And the next day I wake up and the pictures have totally changed. It was cool with a girl because I relived it. I let it be what it is, watching the movie. And the next day I realized that when she was running up to me, I remember myself looking at my friends and expecting to calm down and settle down the situation because they know that she's a psycho lady and she can do anything. Okay. And then I realized that my friends were not there. Uh, and on Monday, I had a conversation with one of them, and I told him the situation, and he told me, okay, what you want me to do with a crazy lady? And so I realized that we don't have the same values
Mm.
because I cannot picture myself to not climb down the cliff and helping my friends in the similar situation. So it was a good lesson from the crazy lady to realize many things and about me and about the friends. And then I realized that I was expecting from other people to have the same values with me. And I want to ask you, okay, values are just some strong beliefs, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
But I feel that if I don't have the same values with my closest friends, they're not my closest friends.
Not so.
Eh?
Not so.
Not so?
No, definitely not. Your friends don't have to share your perspective on life for them to be
Yeah.
friends. Yeah, because they won't anyway. Nobody can. Your perspective is your perspective,
Hmm.
and we have to. We have to. It's appropriate to realize that everybody has their own conditioning and their own
Yeah.
experience and their own learning and their own view, and none of them are right or wrong. They're just what they are. Yeah. So I'm really interested. Can you remember what did you feel when she was running towards you? Did you feel like you had to protect yourself? Were you what was going on for you?
I think it was a mixture of many, many things running at the same time, and you could observe all of them. It was, yes, that I have to protect myself, that I have to be careful to not fall down off the cliff, that I have to avoid the rock because she's throw a huge rock like me, and I have to avoid it on the cliff. I had the thought why my friends are still up, and that now anything can happen. Anything.
Hmm.
These seconds, I know that anything can happen. Let's see what
Yeah,
will happen.
yeah. And when she ran up and stopped really close to you, did you expect that, or do you think that did you expect that she might do something?
This had happened to me to about 10 years ago to a similar situation, and I just could not see any of the bad possibilities.
Mm,
So in a way, I was expecting that nothing will happen.
yeah. So could you imagine? And we can only imagine. It's pure imagination. But could you imagine that when she got fairly close to you, that what she was seeing in you changed what she was feeling?
Probably 95%, because
Yeah,
she was running onto me like an angry lion, and then she could not do anything.
yeah, yeah. So most people they would react in a certain way, and that would invite her to continue what she's doing. But because you didn't react, all of a sudden she changed what was going on for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the fact that you could see everything that was going on is a amazingly good thing. Yeah, that you were aware of what was going on. You weren't lost in your fear. You weren't lost in the possibilities. They were just there as possibilities. That's
Hmm.
that's that's brilliant. I mean,
Yeah.
that's proof to you that your nervous system has deconditioned a whole lot of stuff. Your nervous system is caught up with what you know to a large extent.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Excellent. Yeah.
I can see this day by day, really small realizations, but I can see day by day that is slowly changing,
Mm, excellent.
slowly, but every day a small thing that you said, okay, this is it. And let's
Yeah.
say about 2 days ago, because when I have an idea, I write it down. It helps me to like make it
Yes.
more profound to me. And it was a night that I was observing the observer. And I realized that the observer is just the thought with the smallest delay, isn't it?
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. So that's another really, really big one. When the observer stops being you and it's just happening. That's brilliant. Yeah.
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 Because it was, the observer is very hard to detach.
Yes.
But I was keep observing the observer and just a thought reflecting immediately what was happening. So it's just
Yes.
another thought with a very small delay. And
Yeah.
because the
Yeah.
delay is so small, we think we are
Yes.
this observer.
Yeah. Yeah. That's excellent. So that's losing identification. Excellent. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. And what's really good is that you've got these tools to investigate for yourself what's going on. You can
Mhm.
do it for yourself. You can see it. Another thing that I am curious about is when you say every day is a little clearer, do you do you have an experience that you call clearer, or is it a lack of not clear?
I think, to simplify it in my way, there are just more and more moments with silence.
Ah,
And and when the silence is there, maybe the next thought that comes up, it's a realization because in the silence you can see the thought.
mm,
So the silence is spreading slowly, slowly.
yep, yep. So here's a big one. Do you recognize that whatever is there, whatever you think of it, whatever is there is just what is happening, including what you think of it?
Yeah. Yes.
Could you go as far as to say that you are just whatever is happening? That is all you. All you are is the happening that is currently happening.
In some moments, yes. It was like I had the feeling that I'm the whole movie, the whole set, but with feelings too. Because you can watch a movie, but you don't have the feelings of the character. Now you're the whole set, but also with all, I cannot explain it, but it's like you are the whole set of the movie.
Mm, mm.
But this, of course, come and goes.
Yes, which is just the happening again, isn't it? Would you describe, hard question, would you would you describe everything as ordinary or is it novel
Ordinary or
or novel?
novel, what you mean?
Novel, brand new.
Again?
Brand new,
Ah,
unique, first time experience.
uh, it depends the moment. Some days is ordinary, and this ordinary, you can have some realization too. And in some moments, it's fresh, but mostly in the feeling. You like going back to the feeling of the state when you were a kid that you could look up the curtain for, I don't know, do you get it?
Yep, yep.
But yeah, to live in the 20s, 24/7 in a feeling that it's all new, not
No.
yet.
Oh, I don't think that will ever happen. Maybe, maybe not.
Ah, it's not the
Yeah.
case for you too.
No, definitely not. No.
Ah, okay.
This is a tricky one. If I describe, if I look back at the day up till today, it's now 6:45 7, 6:45 p.m. today here. If I look back at the whole day, there's nothing there. I can work at remembering certain activities, but I can't remember what I was feeling or thinking as I was doing those activities. They were just activities.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
have a question. Yeah, continue, please.
yeah, I was just going to say what the best way I can describe it is that it seems like I disappear. There's nothing. There's no me. There's no anything.
I'm not in this state yet to have this feeling that I have disappeared. But this question comes to my mind that I think is similar, that the moments, the small moments that I disappear and there is nobody to put a label is like Stelios is unconscious.
Is what?
Unconscious.
Unconscious. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that the case? Because I was expecting in the beginning of this journey that we are doing all this to be more conscious. But I realized that we had become more unconscious.
Yeah. That's kind of a version of what I would describe as invisible. That unconscious. Just nothing stands out. I have moments of what I call magic, but I can't remember any of them today. But those moments of magic would be when I get an overwhelmed sense of awe about something, usually something I see. I might look at something and go, oh, wow. And that happens sometimes a lot, many times in
Yeah,
a day, sometimes once every couple of days. And now I can't remember the last time it happened. Yeah.
yeah. I have this moment too. And I think I had it in my whole life, but I didn't have evidence to tell me that this is something we're going. Really, really. I have these moments many in my life that it was many big shifts, but I have a mental image of them. So for you to say that you don't remember it at all.
Memory's a funny thing. No, I would have to work hard to get a memory, and I mostly couldn't be bothered. I don't.
But how can you say that you have some of them during the day or during the week in order to say you have a memory of them?
I remember. Yes, it's tricky, isn't it? I remember that they occurred. I don't so much remember what it felt like. Yet,
Ah,
but I know what it felt like.
what it felt like. Do
Mm,
you have a mental image of the location you've been when that happened?
yes, yes,
You have, but you don't have the feeling. How it was
yeah.
feeling.
I
Okay,
can
I get this.
when I talk about it, I can feel it again, but I can't remember the feeling that was then, back then. That thing. Yeah,
It's
but
very hard to,
I can remember that
yeah.
it happened. Yeah.
Okay, now I get you. Yeah, I
Mm,
have this. About a week ago, I was walking in Athens, that it's an ugly city, and it was the most beautiful city I've been before, and it was so overwhelming that where can I put all this life in me? So after many days, you have some flashback of the environment when you were walking some beautiful building, but you try to get in the feeling, it's impossible
mm,
to describe and be in the place you were feeling this time because it was you cannot
yeah,
describe it, you cannot relive it. So if you mean that you cannot remember the feeling, yes, I get you. I thought you have forgotten the whole experience of this, that you've forgotten the place you've been, that you've forgotten. This is not the case, right?
no, no, I remember that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very apparent to me now when I remember something that I am creating an experience that could be described as a recreation, but I have no idea how accurate it is to the original. But it is an experience that I'm having when I'm remembering things.
You mean that you come to the same feeling
Well,
you
I'm
had
guessing it's the same feeling. Yes.
yeah, but you're guessing, yeah.
Mm,
Because also when I think about it, I have a glimpse of the feeling, but then the mind tries, to connect the old feeling and the new, and you cannot
mm,
be exactly in this feeling.
mm.
And another strange thing that about the last year or two, when I'm in a quiet place, two of the most basic sensations I have in my body is a feeling here changing depending the day and very, you know, strong jaws. And after the fight with this crazy lady, it's gone. This because anger and many feelings expressed. And I realized this 2 days ago. Where are these feelings? I had it every day, and it's gone.
Yeah, excellent. So you let something go.
Hmm. And I thank this lady for this, really. She
Yes,
showed me many,
yes.
many things.
Yeah. Yeah, crazy is wonderful. Crazy is good.
You know, we see every scenario that the mind will say, I don't want this or I want this. But as you always say, now I get it that everything is an opportunity, everything.
Mm,
I could not realize that this crazy moment was an opportunity. I could never imagine that.
mm. So you could thank her for all sorts of things.
Yeah. And not in a spiritual way, I thank her. No, I thank her afterwards because many things appeared and disappeared. And it was her crazy part and my crazy part to have this play together. And maybe also for her, it was a release. I don't know. But for
Who
me, it
knows?
was.
Yes. Mm,
But she could never see this because if I could talk to her like you, the next time I could see her, I could take her a hug and say, thank you. You helped me very, very much. But she could never realize this. Why I'm saying this.
yeah. But you don't know. You just really don't know whether how she would take it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Mm.
Maybe I'll see the next time I see her what will come up. But let's go back to the values because I get what you see. I saw that I had a projection that everybody should have the same values with me. I know that this is bullshit, but in a way, inside me, these two friends of mine, they have climbed down the level that I have put them on. Do you get this?
Yes.
And do you get that this is selfish or this is what happened to me? That this is my reality now.
It's just what happened. Yeah. So we could describe this from above, or we could describe it from below. So did you have unrealistic expectations that you've now adjusted to more realistically? That's a good way to describe it. So this you could thank your friends now for the realization that you had them in your imagination somewhere different to where you now see them. And where they
Mm-hmm.
actually are, we don't have any idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big thing. I've written a couple of stories about it. Do you get my Substack stories?
Please no, I watch your videos. I don't know where I can find them.
Oh, okay. I'll send you a link to the Substack. I'll join you to the
Yes,
Substack
please.
thing because
Yes.
there's some good stories there, and one of those stories is about do 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 other people have to have the same values of me for us to be friends? Uh,
That will be very good for me now.
yeah. And the realization is that I have no idea what other people's values are. I don't really even have any idea what my own values are. I just know and what I realize is that I make connection with people when I'm not there, when I'm not pushing my identity out to them, when I'm an empty space, so to speak, then I make good connection with other people. And it turns out that when I'm interested in what is going on for them, on their description of what is happening, and that really does interest me. It's not a fake thing. It's not an intention. It's just the way it happens that I'm interested in, and not to change it, just to realize what it is. And so everybody can tell me their version of what chocolate tastes like, and everybody's got a different version, and none of it can I appreciate. None of it will I get a taste of chocolate from. But it's
Mhm.
interesting that everybody's got their own version of it. So I'd like to hear it. Yeah, it's an interesting one.
And when you say that when you are in this empty space, you can connect
Yes,
with your friends better,
yes.
right? But I think also you can connect with strangers better.
With who?
With strangers, not
Oh,
only your
yes,
friends.
yes. With everybody. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. See, most people in a conversation wait for a pause in order to offer their own opinion. And so what we have is two opinions coming together.
Exactly.
And we
Yeah,
feel good when the other person's opinion is similar to ours
2 hours.
because it confirms our opinion. And I recognize that when I hear somebody say something that I believe, I feel good about it. But I joke and say, well, it's good that they agree with me, even though they might not know me. It's just, but it's
Yeah,
there is that.
it feels good.
Yeah, but it's not necessary for a good connection. Right?
Hmm.
That's ego stuff, and
Yeah,
and it can feel good without it being ego. But essentially, it's what most people do is they look for a a confirmation that their ego is right in other
yeah,
people. And when
yeah,
and when you're not doing that, right, that other person feels really heard, really listened to, and that people feel good about that. It's kind of crazy because when you're not there, you're fully there.
yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. And when we say we're not there, it's basically not having thoughts about what is there.
Yeah.
Only the thought makes us feel that we are there. So this line it's very tricky for some people seeking when they hear I'm not there, there is nobody. I think this line confuses many people
Could.
until
Yeah.
they got there. Because it's not that you disappear, or it's like, as you said, there is space to silence.
Mm. Very. Yes. Excellent. It's very much so. Yes.
I was very tricky for many years with these lines where there is nobody, I disappeared, and I was expecting, but in a way it's true, but you cannot, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, as I see it, you just, when you realize things, there is more and more and more space for the silence.
Yeah.
And in the silence, when there is a thought, there is no attachment because in the silence, who can be attached
Yes.
with
In
the
the
thought?
silence, everything is allowed. Everything is possible. Yeah. Because it's not really silence. We talk about it silence, but it's not. It's not an emptiness. It's a full emptiness.
Full. It's full. It's
Yeah.
the fullest.
Mm.
Another strange thing is I live some days in Crete, some days in Athens. The first days that I go to the different place, I feel a turbulence. And a year ago, I would say that, okay, Athens is not good for me the first days because of the turbulence. When I go from Athens to Crete, the first days it will happen the same. And I say, Crete is not good for me. I was better in Athens. And then I realized that the environment is different. So the frequency is different. And when you realize now it's a different frequency, like there is no wind and now it's wind, it's everything cool. Everything is okay, every frequency. But
Yeah.
the strange thing is that let's say I spent 3 weeks here. So I'm really calibrated to the frequency of Crete. So every time that I travel, let's say with a boat to Athens or to Athens back to here, I'm in a calm place and I really enjoy the trip with the boat. This time before I go up, I was here many, many weeks. I was very calm, very quiet. And the last day, from the moment I woke up to the night that I was traveling with the boat, it was a fucking big turbulence. I could not uh, understand why this was happening. I could not explain it, just watching it, but it was not comfortable. The next day, it was the day with the crazy lady. It was exactly the same turbulence. It was
Mm.
like the body knew. Do you
It's
believe that?
interesting, isn't it?
It is.
Mm. And a lot of these things we don't have any idea, and we will never know what was going on. Yeah, but if we find it interesting, maybe just maybe we'll get to see what it was about.
Mhm.
It's just interesting, yeah, isn't it interesting? And as it's not necessarily that turbulence is uncomfortable. It might be if you resist it. It will certainly
Yeah,
be uncomfortable. But you might find it if it's interesting, then although it's active, it's not necessarily uncomfortable.
yeah. I've been to many moments like this. That's a huge turbulence, and I'm in this without fighting, just and it's like you are in a roller coaster. So you just
Yeah,
enjoyed it. It's whoa, whoa. But I think the previous day that I was not feeling comfortable with this and I was very irritated and that I was trying to calibrate something that was not calibrating.
yes, yeah,
I think it was something that it will trigger my ego and it did. The next day it did. I don't know, maybe it was a coincidence, but
yeah.
suddenly the body one day before it was like, okay, what the fuck is going on?
Mm.
It's like it feels that a change will come. I don't know. Maybe. That was my interpretation.
Yeah,
Or maybe I was in this turbulence that I was fighting that I attracted the other girl. We don't know.
would also be possible. Absolutely, yeah. I do believe that we do attract what we expect.
Mhm. And mostly what we feel,
Mm,
because it was feeling like this and it was a resistant, I attracted the same experience.
mm. So when we experience resistance, the big opportunity there is to realize that we don't have to resist the resistance, that we can
Mm,
allow the
that's,
resistance to be there. That's a big one. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because in any way you have the experience of resistance. Even
Mm.
if you want it or not, you have it. You have the experience of resistance in that moment.
How are you, Jack?
I'm good, but I'm a little just just sitting down. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, you've been really active. Yeah.
Very. I'm coming back from my dance practice again. It's uh, I think midnight my time, so I had to. Believe it or not, somehow all the study rooms are still very full right now. So there wasn't a whole lot of empty places for me to go do this. Um, and so I'm just settling in a little bit. Um,
If does the dance practice get you hyped up?
uh, it can. I would. It's not always like this, but I do want to mention, just because it has bothered me, that more often than not, I'd say that I struggle with dance practice often because it's like that feeling of when you're in a room of people yet you somehow feel alone. Like it shouldn't be possible, and that makes it worse. Um, I tend to struggle with the whole socializing thing in general. So,
Mm,
um,
mm.
but it can be really fun. It can be so much fun. Like as an art form, I just love dance. Um, I will do it spontaneously, walking around when there's no one else. Like just so.
Yeah.
Uh,
So when you find it fun, what aspect of it is fun? Is that when is is there interaction with other people when you're finding it fun, or you're not doing that?
Sometimes it can be it can be very fun to just be essentially be stupid. Um, for not in a demeaning way, but just like saying random crap and joking and laughing, and that can be very fun. Um, Even when I'm alone though dancing, it's I really enjoy connecting to the music. And when I really get into it, it's like the most freeing thing I've found to date. Like
Excellent. Yeah.
really truly feels like freedom.
Have you come across ecstatic dancing?
No, um, no.
Yeah. There's it seems to be associated with a thing called the five harmonies as well. So it's worth look it up on Google or whatever. Um, but that sounds like something that you might really get into, and good value, very expressive. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let the body lead is what it's about. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I'm actually doing pretty okay tonight, I think.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say that one of the reasons why, and it's just a guess, of course, but one of the reasons why you enjoy the dancing so much is because you can leave the mind behind?
Don't know. Um, it's a weird one, but in the times when it has felt most freeing. Okay, so there's two different things. When I'm like really connected to the music, it's like it's just the music. It's one movement. Like
Yep.
everything is just the music. Um, Other times when it has felt more freeing, it's because like whatever I'm feeling, even if it's fear, it just goes into the dance.
Yes.
Um, it so, but that's not necessarily leaving. Like I still, my brain can be very active any time of the day, any
Yeah.
activity.
Well, if you think of it in terms of leading or following, is it different in some way when you're feeling connected to the music and you're feeling good compared to when chaos is ruling and you're feeling not good?
Mm.
Now, in both cases, your mind is active, I'm imagining, but there is a difference.
I don't know. I'm not sure that I could. Only in the case the one or two examples when I really just kind of moved with the music, I would say it was more like following or like I just snapped out of it and realized that I'd been dancing, so to speak. Most of the time though, it's still like I think of it as me making the inputs mentally. Here, I did want to mention something because this was kind of new for me. Um, this happened yesterday where uh, I was working on a project for school and it was very intricate. Like I was writing an essay and revising a bunch of stuff a bunch of times and like really thinking through how to do stuff. And it was weird. It was like I've I felt a lot of emotions like stress or um, struggle, like because it wasn't easy necessarily. But what was weird was when I kind of finished, I was like, I didn't really suffer through any of that. Like the feeling of my typical, what I call the feeling of suffering, was just gone through that whole period. And of course, it came back, which is fun. But um, it was the my best way of understanding it is all of my focus was put on something that wasn't me. And for the first time, it was like I didn't have to deal with the me projects or feeling like I was wrong and needing to adjust all the time. Um,
Excellent.
yeah.
And yet, if you stand back and look at it, if you could, if you had a video of it, for example, and you're able to watch it, you could probably describe that it was a happening that didn't have a self running the show. If there were echoes of a self, it was just part of the happening. How does that resonate for you?
I think that the closest I can get to agreeing with you is that it felt slightly more cooperative, slightly, than it might normally. And by normally, I mean more like managerial.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay. So if we were to change that situation back into the one where there was suffering, what would be different? What would be the additional thing that would bring about the suffering? What was missing because there was no suffering? Was it that there was no manager of the manager? There was no judgment of the managing. The managing was just happening.
that is a good idea. I don't really know. Or something is very Answers do not feel very forthcoming
Yeah.
right now.
Yep. Okay. But you do get. I'm imagining that you do get that something was different, even if we can't define it.
Yeah. I do like the idea of the managing the manager or adjusting the manager or finding fault with the manager.
Yeah. And here's the interesting thing. Let's call him the meta manager. Turns out he was not necessary.
I can believe it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I have an experience of that potentially being the case or something like that. Um,
But he comes uninvited. So, we can't do much about the fact that other than realize he's there in his role and he's got a bloody little mustache and he's got a bow tie and he's got a finger that he's wagging all the time. Or that's just me going crazy. Don't worry about that one.
okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Let's go one step further. It may be just a possibility. Maybe when you're feeling good dancing, he's not there either. We might have to wait till you dance again to find out. Who knows?
I don't know. I'll keep an eye on that one for sure. It's making me smile. Like the it's like of course it can be, but something in me is like it can't be that simple, can it? So I don't really know.
Well, who
Uh
said that's simple? That's not simple, but yeah, it could be. But
yeah.
yeah, only in reverse is it simple. But sure, coming from he's not going to
Yeah,
give
no,
up
that's a
his
good
job
point.
very easily. He wants
Say what?
he's not going to give up his job easily. That meta manager.
No,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, I don't know.
But and I feel celebratory about the fact that you had that experience. That is excellent. I love that. That opens up possibilities.
Yeah. Oh, the work, yeah. Yeah. The sad part for me is, and maybe you won't see it that way, but the sad part for me is it was in a very intensive activity, at least mentally. It can't and that to me does not seem to translate well to much lower mental energy activities
Yeah, yeah.
or into things where I'm like I want to have that when I'm with my girlfriend.
Mm.
Like if it's just when I'm doing my project
Yeah, yeah.
once
I
a
get that.
week, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
Mm, uh, I I'm willing
Yeah.
to walk back some of that anger that just came out, but you know,
Ah, okay. That was pretty well transmuted. I didn't experience it as anger, but
uh,
okay.
I did.
Yeah. So, so who says that when you're with your girlfriend, that's a quote lower, less less intensive experience, or that it
So
has to be. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. I'm with you. It's just that the way that it happens to me,
Yes.
I'm thinking
I,
is happening all the time.
yeah, I get
So
that. Yeah. Yeah. And that's probably not going to stop. It's the amount of thinking. I mean, that's the way your brains work. That's the way you are. You know, that's got to do with your basic level of intelligence and all the rest of it. You know, but your relationship to that is what can change.
Okay.
So we're not going to stop the brain from being hyperactive because that's the nature of that brain. But we can let it be that way without it causing us to feel shitty.
So relationship is one of those fuzzy words where I would appreciate if you could tell me how you experience that or what that means to you. Like, what does it mean to have a relationship or a different relationship with your thoughts? Or maybe it's better I don't know. You can say that too. I
Yeah, yeah.
don't.
No, no, no. I'm just trying to formulate a way of putting it to you. Like I'm looking for an analogy that might be suitable. Right.
Or maybe
So
how could I discover?
yeah, well that's it. It is a discovery, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what comes to mind is my relationship with our dog. Right. I love our dog. Our dog is got a great personality, really laid back, easygoing animal, and so on. And most of the time, most of the day, it's just there. It wants to be around us most of the time, but not all the time. So it'll be there. It'll just be lying on the couch, or on the floor or whatever. But if we say the word walk, it gets up and does backflips and gets really excited, right? It just loves the idea of going for a walk and me throwing a ball, and it fetches the ball back to me to throw again and again and again until it gets exhausted. Right? So it gets very excited about that. Now, when the time comes that we're going to walk the dog becomes different in my focus. Right, it becomes the center of my focus. It's something that, right, okay, we need the dog to get the lead put on it. We need to get the ball and the ball thrower, and we need to get poo bags to take with us, and so on. And then we go for a walk, and I'm holding the dog on the lead, and I'm very aware all the time of where the dog is, whether it's heeling beside me or whether it's at the end of the lead having a sniff at this and that and whatever. Right. So what we've got is we've got the times when the dog is pretty much the center of my attention, or at least it's forefront in my attention, even if I'm, say, talking to my wife while we're walking, or I'm talking to a stranger that we meet on the path, or I'm looking at the boats on the water, whatever, the dog's still there in my attention to varying degrees. But for the rest of the time, it's in the background. It's just there in the background. And unless it does something like, say, it wants to go outside, and it'll stand at the door, right? It doesn't come to me and say I want to go outside. It just stands at the door in a certain way, and I know it wants to go outside when I see it, and so I let it out. And so what I'm saying is, for most of the time, it's just there. It's just background stuff, but I'm aware of it, but not really paying it any attention. It's not nothing special about it. When it comes time to go for a walk, then it becomes center of my attention. Or at certain other times, it becomes forefront in my attention. So that relationship is just it's just there. It's just the existence of it is what it is, unless I need to pay special attention to it. But see, your dog, your mind, is always at you, doesn't give you a chance to relax. It's always there asking for attention. That's how I imagine it anyway. I'm not saying it is, but that's the way I see it.
Yeah. I'm gonna drop the dog analogy just for a second at least.
Sure, yeah.
The way that I see it is that in not all, but most situations I'm in, my mind is throwing up the negative things, putting all the attention on that, and like what we can do about it. Um, to where even when like something good is happening, it feels kind of like I'm feeling like the part that's not as good.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
I have very little concept of like thinking being in the background or
Yep,
being an equal part.
yeah. And do you get that? I guess this is a statement of the obvious, but do you get that what that does is keeps your body full of stress hormones, cortisol, etc.,
Sure.
and and that makes you more prone to um, uh, irritations. You're hypersensitive to things and
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
And then that then becomes a feedback loop that keeps your mind going the way it did. So one thing excites the other thing, which excites the first thing again, and around we go, kind of thing. That's a pretty big one. So I'm not meaning to do anything with that other than just realise, right, that it's not just a mental thing; it's also a physical thing as a result of the mental thing. And so the mental thing causes a physical thing, which causes the mental thing, and around we go.
Yeah. Or yeah. Yeah, trust me, I'm always like for example, I have more worry about like how my body and stress and heart is doing because of all this than I would like to.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
even though I don't really know how any of it's doing, and I can
yeah. That's
probably
right.
drop a
Yeah,
lot of it, it does bother
yeah.
me.
Well, you're very lucky that you're young and fit. That certainly makes it a lot easier than if you were old and sick and going through that. So, well, let's change it before you get old.
So
Yeah. So we've got this. Let's say we've got this kind of feedback loop that's going around and around. Do you get that any attempt to interfere with that just adds to it? It's a crazy one, isn't it?
okay. So on one level, yes, I completely agree with you. On a second and not contradictory level, I agree with you, but also I feel like I have no other options a lot of the time.
Exactly. That's true. I get that. Of course, if you did have other options, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
You would have used them, right? Yeah. So, is that you have no other options an option? Is it a possibility that because you have no other options,
Yeah. Um, it is.
yeah, that's very reluctant, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Or I feel resistant to that.
Hmm.
I'm
Ju-
bad about
Just,
it.
just confirm for me or deny that that resistance is because you feel you ought to be able to do something about it.
There's some of that. There's some of that that's like sheer what we might call like egotistical. There's also like a sense of sadness about it. Um, like it feels, I don't know how real feels now, but like neglectful.
Yeah,
Like I feel remorseful about
yeah, yeah.
the situation of not being able to help
Mm.
or
What
fix
about the
or
possibility that help is disguised as not being able to do something about it? And so you recognize that as a bit egotistical, right? That's a big thing that you can recognize that. There's a feeling that goes along with that that you can isolate. You can see that feeling that says, oh, oh.
I'm sorry, could you I lost you a bit in the first sentence.
Yeah, we go a bit fast sometimes.
That's
Um,
okay.
so yeah, where I'm imagining you got lost was that uh, the idea that you should be able to do something about it, that excites a part of you that has remorse, and that sadness and remorse has got to do with recognizing the truth in that you can't do anything about it. And then that excites something that says, but I should be able to. So again, that gets into its own loop, that same circular thing, whereas I should be able to do something about it and I can't. That's bad. And it's bad because I should be able to do something about it. And that's bad. And that's bad because around and around we go. But what
Maybe
I'm saying is that in that is a possibility in the recognition that you can't do anything about it is hidden that you can do something about it. But
see
it's
that's
hidden.
where I'm losing you. Wait, you're saying I can or I cannot? Or both? Or
I'm saying that you can't do it, but if you accept that you can't do it, you will be doing it.
yeah. Hmm.
So it's a tricky one, you know. It's like you can't do it because that requires intention and control and effort and so on. But when you give up, you will be doing it. But that's counterintuitive. That goes against everything you know.
Um,
So how can I do it if I don't do it? That's kind
mhm.
of a crazy thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, or I recognize the sense in what you're saying, but I also don't like the lost feeling that I sense is an implication of what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Nobody
and I
wants
also
to
kind
be
of do like the
helpless.
feeling, so it's strange, but
Yeah. So you've been taught all your life, you've been taught that if you give up and stop trying, that's bad. That what you have to do is you have to work hard and be diligent and put a lot of effort into achieving.
there's definitely some of that. And the annoying part is even I've even learned surrender and giving up as a in terms of that language. Like I can give up to fight another day or give up to get something um, or as a way of achieving what I want. Uh,
And you can see the
So,
contradiction in that, eh?
yeah, I guess. Um, I that like there was a I don't know if you understood what I was saying, but when I was at the Sunday meeting, um, or for me it was Sunday, uh, I've been forced to give in many a time over the last months, but willingly quitting something, wanting to quit, um, wanting to quit something that I feel like I should be doing is just
Yep.
not. I would say there is an identity that would make that not a possibility for me or
Yeah.
unheard of.
Yep. Yep. Can you see what I just got really excited when you said you can see that there's an identity that compels. Right?
Mm.
So can you see that what would happen when that changes is that we would lose that identity, and that's a good thing, because any identity you've got is made up. You're conforming to somebody else's idea, and then you've mixed in your own ideas about that identity, but it's totally made up.
I have strange feelings are going on right now. Um, I think I agree with you.
Can I come in with historically?
I'm sorry. Say what? What did you say?
Oh,
Jason?
uh, sorry, this thing's sort of frozen here. Can you guys
Yeah.
hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Oh, if you can hear me, I don't know. The
Yeah.
screen's sort of frozen here. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I
Yep.
can hear you. Okay.
But
Yeah.
okay, cool. So yeah, the term's historically, and you can use it for pretty much all aspects of identity. So the way you've been so far is the way you've historically been. And it's not saying that you have to immediately drop it and say, okay, it's in the past. But when you label that aspect of yourself, that one that isn't willing to let go, isn't willing to quit voluntarily, like would see that as a loss of who you see yourself to be. If you could see it as who you've been historically, then uh, it doesn't have to project into the future. Historically, I've been one who hasn't been comfortable letting go, but that doesn't mean that that's who you have to be in the future. It's just who you've been so far. It doesn't have to mean that you're done being that either. But if you can think of it in terms of it's how you've historically been, then you can keep it if it still serves you. But you're free in that moment to uh, allow your identity to evolve so as to meet the needs of the moment.
Thank you. I think I see some merit in that for sure.
Like, cool. So it's like if there's like a food you don't like, for instance, like peas and carrots. Like you could say, I hate peas. That's just who I am. I hate them. And then if you're presented a dish that has peas in it and you say, I hate peas, you won't even consider it. You won't even look at it. But if you say, historically, I haven't liked peas, in that moment, you could then consider that dish. And, you still don't have to eat it if it's not compelling to you. But because it's just the way you've been before, it doesn't mean that that's the way you have to continue being. And so, maybe it smells good or is, next to some other things you like, and maybe you'll give it a shot. I mean, what do you got to lose? It might be a little uncomfortable for a little bit, I suppose. But yeah, historically, it keeps you. I mean, we can apply it in pretty much any of the ways we think of ourselves. Like, I am this way. If we say it in terms of historically, I've been this way, then all these ways that we've seen ourselves to be are ways that are only the ways we've been so far. And it's not saying we need to let them go immediately. We can keep them going. But as long as we say historically each time we define ourselves, then each moment becomes real present and real fresh, and that will let me look to the back, like to the past, to define who I am. Like, what do I do here? Well, who am I? And let that define it versus, well, historically I've been like this. And then that doesn't need to define or shape what you do in that moment necessarily.
I think I'm with you in part. Thank you.
Sure. Historically, I've identified as male, but I've come to find that I can consider myself to be non-gender conforming, and then I can act as feminine as I feel like, and no one saying anything could make me feel less. After all, I didn't choose this maleness; I was just born into it. Didn't choose any aspects of this form. Didn't choose the religion into which I was born. Didn't choose the parents that I have with their unique backgrounds that have, led them to raise me in the ways that they did. Didn't get to choose any of these things, yet here we are.
I might comment that part of the issue, at least for me, historically, is that I don't know what I'm quitting. What I'm quitting or supposed to quit, and how I would do so. Um, I guess you could say like quit trying to help. Maybe would be the closest that I have in my mind. But then it's
So,
very easy for me to turn into. Okay, maybe that's a good example of historically. Maybe there is a way. I don't know.
so there's this definition of love I've been working with, pinning down what it means. And love is it's two things. It's complete acceptance, and it's being always willing to help whenever helping doesn't mean sacrificing one's felt sense of well-being. So if what you've been doing has been helping and helping too much, giving too much of yourself away so that you feel depleted afterwards, you feel less than after you're giving, then it might not be as in alignment with love as your intentions have been.
There, there's just a little bit of context I guess you're missing. This is me trying to help myself out of suffering in any way I possibly can. And what I'm potentially quitting, I don't know, is I guess trying to help that or trying to manage in any way, trying to find any other options, etc.
Well, I mean, so if helping in the way that you've been helping yourself in this way has been leading to more suffering, then it seems to not be in alignment to be helping in that way.
Fair.
And, it's the complete acceptance part of it. The suffering is resisting what is largely, is my understanding of it. Like if you're suffering, then you're resisting what is to some degree. And so if instead of resisting what is, but can find a way to completely accept what is, which is different than agreeing with what is. You can
Yeah.
completely accept something without agreeing with it. and kind of take some of the pressure off around it. Like, I mean, if it's like, this is bad and I have to do something to change it right now, versus like, can I accept that this feels bad in this moment without rushing to change it? Can I like hold space for the way this feels without needing to make it different this way or that way, or avoid this feeling?
I don't think you're wrong in any way. I guess the feeling that I'm having is just not even in a bad sense, just slightly hopeless because I've at least tried a lot of what you're saying and it just gets co opted. It's like when acceptance and love becomes a task to mitigate suffering, it becomes the suffering essentially.
What if you didn't have to do anything?
I've tried that too.
Historically,
Sure. Yeah. Historically.
I'd be interested in, Jason, in you putting it in the context of what Jack's doing from a point of love for himself
yeah.
and
So it's a
boundaries as well in that.
sure. So it's loves two things. It's complete acceptance, and it's being always willing to help whenever helping isn't sacrificing your uniquely felt sense of well-being. And that's the boundaries part built right into it. If what you're doing is sacrificing your sense of well-being, then it's not an act of love towards yourself.
I would, so I'm not dismissing your point, Vince, but I would just say that I'm, at least in the way that Jason is framing it, I'm always trying to help my well being. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. So do you get that that's an expression of your self-love? And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean it in a, yeah.
yeah, okay. So I can see it as an intent towards self love.
So where does sacrificing your own sense of well-being? It's tricky when you're directing that love to yourself and you're looking for something good, and yet somehow inside that you are sacrificing your own sense of well-being, or maybe or not. I don't know. Are you?
I hope I'm not. It's possible I am. I don't think I would ever do something that would.
Well, certainly not
Go against.
intentionally. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Jack, are you suffering?
I'm sorry, I didn't. You maybe cut off
Are you suffering in this moment?
slightly.
Where do you feel it in your body?
Kind of radiating from my feet up my legs to my lips.
In those specific places?
Sort
Everywhere
of.
you feel it actively,
Yeah,
and it's a radiating sensation.
it's just what I feel.
There's no wrong way to feel, and your body feels uniquely as the thing. There isn't another body that feels exactly the way your body feels. So
Yeah,
you're not feeling it wrong, but your body knows what's true. And our minds make stories about our suffering, but the way it feels in our bodies specifically, that's what's true. Do you notice the sensation of your feet on the floor in this moment?
yeah, I already know.
That's true. How about, are you sitting on something?
Yeah,
Are you standing? Okay. Do you feel the sensation of what you're sitting on, or how where you feel that against you?
yeah.
That,
So, but what use is that?
well, that's what's true is the thing. See, our thoughts about suffering are thoughts a lot of the time, and the sensations our bodies can tell us is what's true. And if we align ourselves with our thoughts about what we think is going on and who we think we are, identity wise, it takes us away from what's actually true, which is the way these words are vibrating against your eardrums, sounds being translated into meaning. The sensation of the ground beneath your feet, the sensation of the chair underneath your ass is true. Those are all true sensations. And that's what's real. And that's what, I mean, I can bank on. I mean, I can't bank on how it's feeling for you, but I can bank on those sensations are reliably true for me. I can't know what you're feeling. I can't. But I can know what I'm feeling, and I can speak truthfully about what I'm feeling. Um, Whereas I couldn't speak truthfully about what anyone else is feeling. But as far as suffering goes, I mean, if it's related to a story, not to physical sensations that are occurring in your body in this moment, then to suffer in this moment is more thought induced than it is like what's true about this moment.
Yeah. So let's look at this one. When Jason asked you, we just how do you are you what's the feeling of suffering? You said it was radiating up through from your feet upwards through your body. What he's saying is that's their sensations, and those sensations are only sensations. They're not suffering. It's the story that gets attached to them that gives them meaning and turns them into an expression of suffering. But the sensations themselves don't say suffering in any way. They may or may not be pleasant. They're probably unpleasant, but nevertheless, it's the story that you add to them, the thoughts that give them meaning. The sensations don't have any meaning. They're just sensations. Is that what you're saying, Jason?
What you're saying is resonant, totally. I mean, if you're feeling the sensation of your feet on the ground, can you feel the sensation of suffering simultaneously? Does it kind of go away when you bring your attention to what you're physically feeling in this moment?
Um,
and you can't feel it wrong. Whatever you're feeling's perfect. I mean, there's no wrong way to feel it.
Uh, I can at least say that the sensation of suffering is a very mixed bag of sensations, thoughts, and mental images and sounds, feelings of helplessness, which is also its own mixed bag.
Jack, can I ask you something?
Sure.
When you dance, your body in that moment feels a bunch of sensations, radiations, it's vibrating. There is a big turbulence making your body move, but in that moment, you don't analyze it. So now that you are sitting, if you got into the sensations, you might feel many similar things. There is a turbulence, there is very active sensations, many things, but you're just judging it.
I'm just, did you say judging it?
Yeah, sorry for my accent.
No, it's okay. I just didn't.
So when we are still and we got into the body or the body attracts the attention and we feel a bunch of sensations and they are very active, it's just the mind judging it and we make stories about why I feel all these sensations. But in reality, you're just feeling as you are feeling while dancing.
So as we've been talking about this and so on, have you been able to, or have you separated the feeling in your feet and that radiating upwards feeling from the idea that it's suffering? I mean, it could still feel like suffering, but can you see it as two things? Can you see it as simply a feeling, a sensation, and see it as a sensation that are saying that's my suffering?
Maybe. I'll just say this. I'm feeling
Bit pushed.
pushed,
Mm.
maybe for good. Just
Yeah. Well, you can say desist, fuck off, whatever you like. You can say any of that.
why do you want me to be angry at you?
You're allowed to be. I'm not going to take
Great.
it personally. Yeah.
I've this offering about feelings is that they're body sensations, and that if you don't have a location for it in your body and a sensation to go with it, that it might just be a thought. That definition has served me greatly, and it's not one that's commonly held necessarily. Um, but if I think I'm feeling something, and if I can't find where I'm feeling it in my body and have a description for what it feels like, then it might just be a thought.
Yeah. I do have a story here that a lot of people can't tell the difference between a thought and a feeling. You know, that those things are run together a lot. But I suspect that you have had glimpses of the difference. Um, but that doesn't mean
It's
it's clear. Yeah, go on.
it's tricky because you can have a thought that is a body sensation.
Yeah,
You can be feeling your body and jump into thoughts that are in your body or feel like they're in your body.
To me, those feel separate, even though they happen real close to each other. Like a thought
Okay.
can inspire a body sensation, and a body sensation can inspire a thought.
it's a tricky one. The way I see it, the way the experience here is that in the beginning we've got to separate the two, and later on we'll recognise that there's no difference between them. But that's later on, and that's a recognition, not an intellectual thing. But in the beginning, we've got to be able to separate them in order to not have them control us.
I
Like
mean,
Jason, I'd ask you, what is a thought? How do you know?
no, just words in my head that I'm not saying out loud are is a thought pretty much. If there's English in my head, that's a thought.
How do you know it's not a body sensation though?
If it doesn't have a physical location and a sensation.
What is the sensation?
Things like pressure, temperature, tingling, um, like there's pain, but that's too broad really. There's like aching pain and there's throbbing pain.
Okay, I'm
Um,
sorry. I'm sure you're I'm just I'm annoyed.
no, I mean so so one of the
It's
cool things
good.
with this definition, yeah, you're totally fine to be annoyed. That's perfect. I'm not offended. And yeah, I don't know. It's not personal, is it? Your
No,
annoyance? Okay.
I mean, no, probably not.
Okay. So it's like this notion between like feelings and thoughts. Like as far as feelings go, I think that we can group our senses into feelings also. So like the things that you see are things that you're feeling with your eyes, and things that you hear are things that you're feeling with your ears. Same with smelling and tasting, and then physically feeling, like you're feeling the floor with your feet, and like the sensations that your feet are feeling. I mean, if you're feeling your hand with your other hand, you'd be feeling with both of your hands the one that's being felt and the one that's doing the feeling. Um, so it's like internal sensations are feelings, but also the external ones, including our senses, they seem to also fall under feelings. And if it's just in our head in English, if it's words in our head, then that's a thought, it seems.
But how do you know that without thinking?
This cool thing is like I'm not thinking right now.
Mm.
And I mean, largely when you're responding, like for the most part, like you're probably not thinking of like now I'm going to say this word. You just have like an idea of the general thought you're trying to communicate, and then your mouth will form full sentences without you deciding now I'll say this word and now I'll say this one. Our bodies do all sorts of things without thinking. Like when we're walking, we're not thinking left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. And we aren't thinking breathe in and breathe out either. And we aren't thinking beat, heart, beat. These bodies seem to do themselves.
Okay, I'm not. It's not. It's past the point. I don't. It's okay.
Yeah. Look, it is a tricky area too, So, Jason, what about a picture of a pink elephant? Right? No English required for that thought, but it's still a thought. It's just a visual thought. See, so here we go. You're talking about feeling what you see or feeling what you hear, and now we're talking about seeing what you think. Right? So these things do run in together. They do run together in a tricky way. So it
Well,
can
it's
be
like
quite a. Yeah, go on.
we can feel with our eyes by what we take in with them. But if we don't put English to it, then I don't
Yeah,
know.
it
We're
seems to
receiving the
be
information.
Yeah.
Like if we aren't saying in our head like that is a pink elephant, then each word that we put on a thing puts it into a little box where we decide that a couple of letters and vowels could like define a thing. Like a leaf is just a leaf. When if you look at it, there's so much happening that words are not that word leaf does not describe.
Yeah. Yeah.
With
Yeah.
every single word, limits
It's
this
interesting,
experience
Yeah.
we don't see in English.
Yeah. So I've got this Apple Watch, and when I
Mhm.
take it off and put it back on, I've got to put in a code. And I've been trying now for about 5 years to punch that code in.
This device.
Cancel. It's listening to me. I've been trying for 5 years to punch that code in without saying the numbers as I do it in my head. And I fail. I can't do it. I cannot do it. I cannot just punch those numbers. I know the numbers, absolutely, but I can't punch them in without saying them in my head. Crazy, isn't
There's no wrong way. We're all wired differently.
it? Yeah,
Our insides are as unique as our outsides are. Our
yeah,
organs aren't the same size or shape. They're connected with a different number of nerves. They connect to different places. They hang in different proportions inside of us. No two of us have the exact same sensory abilities. No two eyes see the same.
yeah. And of course, that would be compounded 100 times when it comes to comparing our our mental processes.
Yeah, those are wired uniquely, each of them, through our unique
Mm.
experiences. And that's what we have to share with each other, our wisdom, the things we've learned through the shit we've been through. Because no two of us have been through anything quite the same.
Yeah, it's interesting. Have you come across the show on? I think it's Apple called Pluribus.
Haven't. But I also
It's
don't have any subscriptions because I'm very poor.
okay, yeah, yeah. Well, it's an interesting one. It seems like what it is. It's obviously science fiction, but it's like this virus, and it turns out to be an alien virus, right? Gets out into the human population, and everybody that gets infected can share every experience, every bit of knowledge that everybody else who's infected has. It's a mind boggle, absolute mind boggle to consider what the world would be like if everybody could share everybody else's experience. So everybody can do anything. Anybody could be a doctor. Anybody can be a pilot. Anybody can. They all know what to do because they're sharing everybody else's experience. What
How's
a
their
what?
empathy for one another?
Eh?
How's their empathy for one another? People that have
Oh,
done
brilliant,
horrible things
brilliant.
that,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
Where does it go wrong though? Because it sounds dystopian the way you're talking about it.
yeah,
virus. Yeah.
yeah. Well, they can't. They can't even pick an apple. They can't lie, right? And so the only thing they've got to eat are dead people or apples that fall off a tree. But they can't pick it. They can't. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Anyway, but it's a absolute mind fuck to really think about it. Brilliant. Yeah.
Why can't they pick apples?
Well, it's because they can't destroy anything. They can't take like if it's on the
Can't hurt
tree,
nature.
it's yeah. That's right. Yeah. They can't kill an animal. Yeah.
Is this like a virus that was made in a lab or like an alien virus that
Well,
landed?
yeah, I think they're describing it as an alien virus. We don't know really. It did escape from a lab, but yeah. Anyway, it's just that interesting concept of shared information, shared experiences, and it's something that, of course, we'll never be able to do, as far as I can see. Yeah.
We could, if we could trust that we're all doing it the best way we could in accordance with natural law, that if I was born as Jack, I'd be struggling with exactly whatever Jack's struggling with in this moment in exactly the ways that he is. And I wouldn't be able to have done it different once his entire life. If I was born as Vince, I'd have done everything that Vince did his entire life, and I couldn't have done it different because there's just one consciousness between us all, tweaked a little bit by our unique circumstances of birth, which we didn't get to choose.
Yeah.
We're all just figuring it out and walking each other home.
Yep.
And there's no wrong way to be. And there's no wrong way to feel. And all feelings pass, even uncomfortable ones. And pain and suffering are different. And suffering comes when we resist what is. And there's no timeline to let go by. It all unfolds in perfect timing. It has so far. One thing in our lives had been different. We'd each be real different.
Yep. So I agree with you 100% about suffering being the result of resisting what is. But I imagine that's not your take on it, Jack. What's your take on your suffering? Can you recognize resistance to something?
No, I've I don't get that I've ever been able to stand outside of resistance and see it for resistance. Like maybe there was a feeling that I won't like, but the way I will interpret it as this is a feeling that actually shouldn't be here, and I don't like it for a really good reason.
Hmm. That for a good reason is a.
I'm not saying it's actually a good reason. It's just it comes to me
Yeah,
as being a
yeah,
reason.
yeah. And that's a pivot point, I think. That's a good one there. But yeah, all right. But also, I get the feeling that we shouldn't push too hard. Let's we've poked the bear again. Let's let it find a new position and see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like really, really distinguishing between like this notion of like complete acceptance for a thing and agreement with a thing being different. Um, so like we could not like the way a thing is, but to accept that it is that way in this moment gives space for changes to happen that
Mm.
can't as long as we're holding on to the I just don't like this, but I just don't like this.
And there's a little trick there that's I think a valuable one too, and that is that I don't like it, I don't want it, is actually part of the experience of it. And that's also to be accepted. So we can accept what we don't like, and we can accept that we don't like it as well.
But Vince, it's an infinite regress. Is that a familiar term?
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, but it's not. It only seems that it's infinite.
Okay.
There's actually an off ramp that you don't recognize, and you won't find it until you've done at least one loop of the infinite regress, or what seems like an infinite regress. Because the off ramp is hidden. It's around. You got to do a full 360 before you come to the off ramp.
Yeah.
Uh, this guy named Eckhart Tolle, whose book I read a bunch or a couple of times, but it's been real helpful for me. He said there's no such thing as a problem. There are only life circumstances. And there are only three things to do when dealing with a challenging life situation. or life circumstance. The first thing you can do is you can uh, work to change it. As long as you're actively working to change it, even if you're not effective in changing it, it's not a problem anymore. It's something you're doing something about, so it's no longer a problem. The second thing you can do is you can completely accept whatever this challenging life circumstance is. And that requires a whole lot less to do externally, but it's not always so easy to do internally. And then the third thing you can do that isn't insane as he labeled all other things than these three is you can avoid it, uh, which isn't my favorite of the three, but it makes sense that it is a thing that you can do if it's a thing that's, creating suffering in your life. If it's possible to just put it out of your life, then yeah, you don't have to either completely accept it or work to change it actively. But as long as you're doing one of those three things, working to change it, accepting it, or avoiding it, then it's not a problem anymore. It's nothing that has to keep bouncing around in your head.
I like that last one of sometimes you can just avoid it. Um,
I mean, it works until it doesn't. Some things you can't avoid,
yeah.
but some things you can for short terms, and sometimes you can for longer terms.
That last one, the avoidance one, would be the one that is most tried and most failed. And then the first one would be the second most tried and most failed. And the middle
Well,
one,
the tricky part is I don't go out of my way to avoid. It
yeah,
absolutely happens, but it's disguised.
yeah.
Like I never recognize me as avoiding generally.
Yeah, and the ways we develop to avoid can be really subtle or really, really complex.
Yep. Believe it.
One of the things that I came up against last meeting with somebody that has been going around a bit for me in my head is feeling supported. The value of feeling supported or not feeling supported. It's kind of a tricky one, isn't it? Does that mean we have to feel like somebody else understands to feel supported? Can we feel supported if they don't understand?
Mhm.
Is acceptance? Can we feel supported? Do we need acceptance? What if the other person is hell bent on changing it for us, fixing it? Do we still feel supported? Yeah, there's a lot of nuance in that thing. I think what it came from was that I've been investigating, well, but in memory that I was a bit too absorbed in trying to change something for somebody to give them for them to feel like I actually understood what they were going through. And I rather imagine that everybody that's going through something feels a bit like nobody else understands. I don't know. I just imagine that's the case.
I once thought about there is a crisis of vulnerability where we are all, maybe not you, Vince, but everybody else is constantly struggling and, more importantly, constantly leaking out exactly how they are suffering and struggling with all of their subconscious actions and whatnot. And we never talk about it. We're never willing to
Yeah.
express that shared fate. It feels silly because, of course, I can't actually know what anybody else is experiencing, but
Yeah, but what I'm hearing you say is the importance of vulnerability in terms of that relationship thing.
yeah, I think maybe something that you're probably maybe recognizing is the importance of being an equal and not a teacher.
Mm, for sure. Yeah.
Or maybe you see it as just not being there because you've said that too.
Well, there's a bit of the same stuff in that. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you suffer over those types of interactions?
Me?
Yeah.
No. Although with this rumination that I just mentioned probably gets close to suffering,
Yeah.
but I'm more. It's. I don't know how quite to describe it, but it's more of a mechanical recognition of something that was missing, something that wasn't the way it could be, rather than a judgment about being wrong or not doing it right or whatever. So, in that sense, there's not any suffering, but there is some remorse about the fact that it happened. There's a little bit of sadness, but there's also learning as a result of it. Although I can't kind of define what the lesson was. Well, I can attempt to, but I don't bother. I'm not going to. Yeah. But generally speaking, I would say no. I don't suffer. I don't control where my feet go, so how can I put a foot wrong? That's a funny play with sayings.
Yeah.
I can't actually identify with suffering anymore. I can imagine that it's got something to do with a sensation that I would have called anguish, that that's what suffering is.
Jack, what makes you so sure that what you're feeling is suffering?
Because it's so uncomfortable. I mean, not right now, but most of the time.
It's similar to other sensations you've had before that you'd call suffering?
Yeah. It's the best way I've heard it explained by me, and of course, this is historically, so who knows when they'll show up again, but is that it feels like there's friction with reality.
Mm. That's a good description. I like that. Yeah, it would be. Yeah, skid marks.
Yeah. No, it feels like I'm being sandpapered. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
no matter how I move, just changes it, but doesn't change the
Yep.
experience.
Right.
I have a question I could ask that might be, I don't know. It kind of puts folk on the spot to be asked it because I guess it kind of asks for vulnerability a little bit, but feel free to not answer if you don't want to.
Sure.
But I mean, so it's like you being like, you know, sandpapered against reality. So I mean, I guess the question would be is who are you?
So
And there isn't a wrong answer. And it's just, you know, how you perceive
so
yourself in this moment, I guess.
I may be just struggling because the question to me, and this could be my projection and my anger, but it feels borrowed or like something that you don't necessarily know what you're pointing at yourself. It feels intellectual. Like, who is the you behind this? There is no you, like you can see on Reddit.
Well, I mean, the thing is like, if there was no you, then there would be nothing that could be sandpapered. But there's some part of you that you identify with and as that can be ground down, that is being ground down, that is the suffering.
Yeah.
So if there wasn't a thing that was grind downable, then there wouldn't be suffering.
How do you know?
There'd be nothing left to grind because you would be the universe itself.
How do you know?
Because I am, and I
Okay.
don't suffer.
You don't suffer?
No, because what I identify with is the stuff that I'm made out of, which are you know, little building blocks that are made out of stardust. 13.8 billion year old stardust is
How do you know?
entirely what. Say it again.
How do you know?
I don't, I guess. I mean, I believe it, and it resonates
Why?
with this experience in such a way that I don't get ground down anymore. There's nothing left to grind. There isn't an aspect of who I am. There isn't an identity of who I perceive myself to be that is fixed. Who I am is a thing that changes. I identify more as a process than a person. I'm always
So
becoming.
let me jump in here and short circuit this. So your intention with that question, Jason, I presume, was for Jack to realise that there's no self there to get ground down. But Jack's experience of who he is that he is the skid mark. He is the effect of the grinding. That's who he is. He's not saying he's a self. He is because what he knows he is that feeling of being grounded. whatever, ground up. That's the skid mark.
I
Yeah,
thought,
that's what you are, the skid mark.
I thought the groundedness was the suffering.
And that's what he is. He's the suffering. He is the
Here's what I'll
suffering.
say, Jason, is I actually have no idea what I am or what the shape of me or if there is a me or any of that. That has never really resonated with me well. All I can say is that suffering has been a very big part of
Prominent.
my experience or
Yeah.
the experience or the universe, whatever. I don't care. It's just there.
Mm.
Jack, I have
Historically,
another question. Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Do you consider your anger, the same as suffering?
No.
No. Do you consider being sad the same as suffering?
No.
Do you consider love the same as suffering?
I do not. I'm maybe. I'm not well connected to love.
Yeah, love is also a concept. I'm asking you this because let's say you are in a jungle and a lion attacks you and you get angry with a lion, you have a fight with a lion, and the fight stops. An hour later, you would be suffering. The anger will come down, it will be gone, and you will not be suffering. Do you get what I mean? You have a fight that moment, you are angry with a lion, you have this feeling, and this is over. The lion goes away. And then you're in a different situation. Maybe you are happy, you are relaxed, you are a bit tense, but you are alive. You felt okay. I managed this fight. I'm trying to say that we have a bunch of feelings that it's just feelings. Anger, we are supposed to experience all of this. The suffering comes with the question why I got angry, why I got irritated. If you just accept that, okay, I got angry, I got sad, but that was just a situation and it's gone.
So, but it's more like a cloud of uncomfortability that follows me most days, most times. It's not a I'm suffering because, and sometimes it is. Sometimes I'm suffering because of some situation, but a lot of times it's just not pleasant to be me in a way that, okay, I'm not going to say I'm special. I don't want to go there, but it's
Yeah, yeah. No, but I get what you're saying. As a cloud, it's way too obscure to be able to say to find a reason for it. It's just that follows you around. What if I said to you that your identification is that you are that cloud? It's not just following you, you are it.
yeah, I've wondered about that. If that is the final identity barrier, is the one who suffers, and I just don't know.
Mm.
Uh,
So here's a possible thing for you to consider, another thing for you to consider just in your daily life tomorrow or the next day or whatever, and that is there a you and the cloud, or are they together? They're the one thing. Are you the cloud, or is there a cloud and you separate from each other but connected in some way?
we're separate. Separate, but I can't like ditch it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's hooked
Yeah,
onto you for sure.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
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 And sometimes if I follow the gap, I'm like, okay, it's actually what I'm calling me and what I'm calling the suffering are joined.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Joined at the hip.
yeah, or joined at the what I'm calling sensation level. I don't know if they actually are.
Okay, yeah. So that's valuable, I think, to recognize that that's the co-joining is at sensation level.
Yeah, or it's tricky because it's always like a mental image. So I guess what you're saying is that is still sensation, but I sometimes worry it's a thought.
Yeah. No, I don't think we can distinguish between them with that one. Yeah. Mm.
I'm I'm curious about the mental image of suffering, what your experiences of it.
Yeah.
If you're talking about what the mental images that you associate with this is suffering on you or with you or
It's like most of the images are like imagine you like throw a bunch of mud into the air. It's like kind of splotchy and dark and slightly multicolored, but kind of vague. And
Multicolored, but no bright colors, all dark colors, eh?
sometimes like a pale white. But uh, if if something goes really, really well, I'll get some green or gold.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
so it's a splotchiness color thing, but it's not all suffering. Sometimes it's different colors that mean positive things too.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is it
Mm.
like is it like an overlay like of your like while you're looking, like while your eyes are opened, or is it when you close your eyes?
Is it a visual thing or is it an impression of a different kind?
Um, it's like my focus gets drawn into some visual field, but often when it happens, I'm not seeing the other visual
Yeah.
stuff. So I'm inclined to think a lot of it is equivalent to thinking, but part of maybe my problem is like that's what shows up when I go into the body.
Mm.
Uh,
Mm.
so I don't have like a a free patch of good good sensation or
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting, and that's important, I think, too. That's a big one. Yeah. The word synesiology turns up for me. And I'm not even sure if I know what that means, but I suspect it's where the senses run together. You know,
well,
we
don't
can,
they?
well, they
Synesthesia.
do. Yeah,
Each
synesthesia. Yeah.
experience is unique. Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah. I guess or all I don't know this to be directly true necessarily. I had just heard that one of the non-dual things is that like sound is seeing is feeling is that's why there's the koan of like the sound of one hand. I don't know if that's important in any way, but
Yeah. It's the sound of one hand clapping.
yeah. But that would be
Just
the same as the sound of one hand, wouldn't it?
well, it's what it is what it's meant to do is stop the mind. You
Yeah.
simply can't find a way to make sense of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what we're talking about is a merging of the mind and the physical senses, a merging of them. So this is kind of getting ahead of ourselves a bit here, but that seems to be what happens for you already, and that is that yeah, you're experiencing other senses as visual. You know, your feelings are visual in that when you're getting these colours that represent. You know, so it's obvious that good feelings are going to give you light colours and gold colours and so on, and heavy feelings are going to give you dark colours and splotchiness,
Seems a
etc.
little
That's
simplistic, but yeah, that's about it.
yeah.
But the thing is, let's say you are suffering and you have these visuals, okay? You have trying all this time to not be in this situation because when you have this suffering and this visual, it causes you some fear, okay? What if you just enjoy the visuals? Let's say I could put a USB in your mind and we all can see these visuals in a movie. Would you be suffering watching these visuals in a movie? And maybe some flashes of Jack doing some stuff in these visuals. I mean, you have tried to avoid it. What if you just see the visuals? Maybe your imagination is great to create those visuals. And if you don't
Well,
put a
let me let
story,
me let me just remind maybe is that it's if it were just the visuals, that would be awesome, but it's that it's extremely uncomfortable.
the feeling.
I can't just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're connected to something. Yeah.
But also what if you take the sensations that it's the same as you are in a roller coaster and it goes like this. When you're in a roller coaster, you don't feel the roller coaster. You just
Yeah.
feel the sensations. I'm just saying that the next time, try to just find a way to be with it, to enjoy it even more. I don't know, but you connected the visuals with the sensation and you fight it. And maybe try to find a way just a one to see what is going on, to even enjoy it. It cannot kill you. You can feel it all these years. And you've tried to avoid it and it doesn't work.
No, I've tried to deal with it, and that
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
I,
And I think we got to stop pushing Jack at the moment and
Yeah, yeah.
let
Yeah.
things settle down. Yeah.
I fear that this has been I've just meeting both of you for the first time, Jason, and I'm sorry.
Still,
Stelios, is that how you
you.
say it?
Yeah.
Stelios. Yeah.
Normally I'm
Good
not
to
so
meet you.
normally I'm not so annoyed, but here we are. It's
Okay.
nice to meet you though.
Nice to meet
I
you.
don't know about them, but I didn't experience any annoyance from you. I'm not saying you don't experience annoyance, but you hide it
Me
pretty well.
neither.
You don't show it. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, all right, good. Okay, so yeah. All right, well I'm going to finish the meeting now to so that you don't keep going on and trying to fix Jack. Thank you. Thank you all.
Have a good night,
Yeah.
guys. Stay good. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. See you later.